All right, Kornacki's live, but it doesn't matter. There's nothing to talk about yet.
Michigan, we may hit 8 o'clock, and this thing may look just like it looks right now, and it may look kind of like that for a while. This is a slow counting state. Now, we're always open to pleasant surprises here. Maybe tonight we'll find out that Michigan has kind of, sped things up. They've learned some new things, implemented some new things. Who knows? But it's been a very slow state counting the votes, and that has been particularly true right here in Wayne County, where the city of Detroit is. This is the biggest single piece of the puzzle in the primary tonight. 20% of all the votes in Michigan tonight, roughly, are going to come out of Wayne County. Okay, when did we get results from Wayne County? In the 2024 Democratic presidential primary, it's statewide primary, 5 in the morning. In the 2024 general election, we got some, but we really didn't have most of them until 3 in the morning. So can we do a little bit better than that? So I think one thing to keep in mind as we start getting results from Michigan, Wayne is very, very significant here, but it may be the last piece of the puzzle to fill in.
No. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's all about percentages, chat. Steve is just like soft serving it to you. He knows the truth. It's all about percentages. Like we already talked about, if Wayne County early results look like the ballots and early results look like Haley is only leading by 20 points, it's over. It's an easy victory for Abdul.
Prologue. I'm talking about Oakland County. Oakland County, immediately north of Wayne. It is the second largest county in Michigan. I said 20% of the vote is going to come out of Wayne. How much is going to come out of Oakland? Probably, give or take, 16% of the vote statewide tonight is going to come out of Oakland County. Okay, so you're talking about sort of the northern suburbs. There's some small cities in here as well. In Oakland County, it's big. It's grown a ton. There are some very wealthy areas right here. Oakland, in the last couple of elections, has given us big batches of votes in that 8 to 9 o'clock hour. And now I can tell you, specifically, and you're going to be hearing a lot about this tonight as the results come in, what we've gotten first from Oakland in recent elections is a gigantic batch of the vote by mail. Remember how they did this? There's vote by mail, there's early voting, there's election day voting in Michigan. There's a lot, there's a ton that gets cast by mail. There's some, not that much, that gets cast gets cast early, and then there's a fair amount that comes same day. But there's a lot of vote by mail. And in Oakland, they have typically been reporting out
for you, bro.
A big, giant batch
of
that
I'm not there. I'm in Michigan.
Pretty quickly after polls close. Now, why is that particularly significant? Because if you've been watching these, you remember we have seen big differences in how these different types of votes are breaking.
David was right.
Each party's primary.
It's
on
not
the
David.
Democratic side, the vote by mail, the stuff that's been coming in for weeks before the election, that typically has been more favorable to the establishment candidates. Candidate like Haley Stevens, she's got Gretchen Whitmer's backing. She's got a lot of traditional establishment support in this campaign.
If Abdul loses, will you admit SKDK was funny? Oh, suck dick. No, I will probably die. I will probably perish on the fucking spot. I will end it all right then and there.
Your vote typically comes late. It's folks we've seen in other states where they drop off their mail ballots on election day. In Michigan, it means probably they go to the polls on election day and they vote. Long way of saying, in Oakland and elsewhere tonight, I expect that where we get the vote by mail first, it's probably going to be the best number that Haley Stevens sees in that county all night. And then as the election day vote comes in, the picture would probably shift toward Al Sayed. So the question is, how good does it look for Stevens when that first vote comes in? And then how much does it shift to Al Sayed as the night goes on? Now, to make things further complicated in Michigan, in some states it's like this. Now, this varies by county, how they're going to do it. And it can even vary within county here. So, in fact, in Oakland, we're probably, after we get that first batch of mail, we're going to get some more mail throughout the night. So there's going to be batches that come in that are friendly to Stevens. We're going to get same day that comes. It's going to be a little bit of a mix after that. But that big initial batch, at least the way this has gone in the past, we expect to be as pro-Stevens as it gets. Now, it's important because if Stevens is going to have a chance in this primary tonight, she's got to win Oakland, and I think she's got to win it by a fair margin. She's got to do that in Oakland County. She's got to do that next door in Macomb County as well. Again, say 20% of the vote coming, we say, out of Detroit. Probably 16% or so of the vote is going to come out of Oakland. Probably about 10% is going to come right there out of Macomb County. And then the other one here, right next door to the west of Wayne County, of course, this is...
Come on, dude, say the percentages. Jesus
this
Christ,
is Washtenaw County. This is the liberal bastion. This is the University of Michigan. This is where you expect Al Sayed not just to win, but to run up the score. And these 4 counties right here, okay, in southeast Michigan, together, that's probably half the vote tonight. Probably half the vote is coming out of these counties. Michigan's a big state geographically, right? But if you kind of drew a line about where US 10 is and you went north of it, okay, look at all that land. Look at the UP. There's no more beautiful place in the world than the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Ton of land. I think there's probably about 8% of the vote in the primary tonight is going to come from all of these counties up here. So keep that in mind as the map fills in, just because geographically it's expansive. The vote is really concentrated. There's also a big concentration right there around Lansing, in western Michigan here, Grand Rapids, Kent County, also next door, Ottawa County, Holland, Michigan. You don't see it, but Kalamazoo is here. You've got Saginaw. You've also got Flint, Genesee County.
Saginaw!
Livingston County is kind of between. Right here is Livingston County, big, fast growing. So that's where sort of the population hubs are. I'm looking at the clock, 4 minutes. I got to speed this up, right? There'll be time when the polls close to go over this too, because, right, Adam, we could have
level 4 hype train. If we don't get the level 10, if we don't get the level 15 hype train, we lose tonight. Okay.
We'll have some of these other states coming in
Gift
too.
Subscriptions
starting at 8
now.
o'clock. And we'll
it's
be
no longer voluntary. It's guaranteed.
In the next
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen.
Let me remind
if you
folks
like
if
the
you've been
show,
watching, you know,
if you want to support the
here's how it
broadcast, the
works.
Piker Broadcasting Service, the
Our friends
People's
at
Broadcasting
News Now
Service,
are on
polls
all
close
night.
in
They've got
3
a
minutes.
special coming on, in fact, at 9
At
o'clock.
level 10 hype train,
So
we
I'm
will
going to
carry
be
the flame.
kind of dipping
At
in
level
and out of their
15
coverage.
hype train, we
So
will
I will get
win.
cues in my ear
Level
from
5 hype
Adam,
train already
from folks
complete.
saying,
Let's
hey,
go!
News Now is going to have you on 2 minutes from now.
There's probably a lot more
News Now is
attention
gonna have me
on this
in 2
broadcast
minutes.
tonight, including from
At some
Fox
point, I will
News, so I don't know if I
stop
should carry the
talking.
flame
I'll
at
do
level
the thing
10,
where I
but
look very professional, waiting for the hit to come on. They put me in the box. You'll see it all. We'll put the News Now coverage up in the screen. I will do the hit for News Now. As soon as I finish the hit with News Now, we'll come right back here. We'll pick up where we left off. I always warn you, you'll probably hear me repeat myself in the News Now stuff, so just bear with me. We'll come right back. What? But you know what? You'll probably hear me repeat myself a lot tonight because, again, there's just a lot of stuff we kind of go over and over as these themes, as these patterns kind of reveal themselves. 2 minutes, 51 seconds. The other things happening here at 8 o'clock, again, just to give you a sense here, a big one is happening down in Missouri, specifically in St. Louis. The city of St. Louis and part of surrounding St. Louis County. You probably recognize these names. This is a rematch. Cori Bush was a member of Congress. She was defeated for a renomination in 2024 by Wesley Bell. She is trying to make a political comeback.
Level 9 hype train.
Again, this sort of left-wing energy in the
done,
Democratic
ladies
Party.
and gentlemen. Keep gifting.
Trying to connect
Keep gifting.
with that here, particularly around the issue of Israel.
At level 20 hype train, we win a guarantee. It's a guaranteed victory.
So we're seeing if she can get her seat back tonight, or if Bell can become a second-term member of Congress. Again, this district is split between the city of St. Louis, that's where we expect Bush to do best, and then a little bit the sort of inner suburbs of St. Louis County. That's where we expect Bell to do better. The vote may be faster in Missouri. You'll get that early vote, that pre-election vote first. Then you'll get the same-day vote. And again, what we said in Michigan probably applies here. That means probably the first batches of votes you see in this race will probably be the best for Bell. That election day vote will probably get better for Bush. That's the expectation. Expectations can be shattered on the spot. That's part of the fun of watching this, but that's the expectation going in. Kansas, we're also going to be looking at a gubernatorial primary there. This is an open seat race for Democratic governor, term limited out. The Republicans, boy, that's a crowded primary, but guess what? Donald Trump is behind this man, Ty Masterson. You know that Trump record in these Republican primaries. We'll see if that holds up there on the Republican side. On the Democratic side, you've got a three-way race here. We talk about, this is an interesting story, the evolution of this county, Johnson County. It has grown massively this century. There's now about 650,000 people in Johnson County, and it's become more and more. This used to be a poor Republican county. It's now a Democratic county, and 35% of all the votes in this Democratic primary in the gigantic state of Kansas are coming out of this county, Johnson County. And oh, by the way, these three candidates, they're all from Johnson County. So that's going to be a big theme as we watch that tonight. Much later tonight, we'll get into this later, we are going to have Washington State. That's going to be one of those where we get a ton of mail, like 2/3 of the vote right away, and then it kind of slips. We'll get to that later. Let's get back to Michigan, because we're 30 seconds away. Polls are going to, and by the way, House races in Michigan,
1 more minute until polls close, ladies and gentlemen. 27 seconds until polls close.
Interesting DSA action there. He was DSA. He left. He's being opposed by a candidate who is DSA. We'll be talking about that. The 7th district here. This is again.
Okay, this is actually fire.
Ingham County State Capitol. This is an interesting race where the candidate on the left, William Lawrence. Well, 7 seconds. I'm going to reset to the Senate race. Again, I don't know why I try to rush this all in because we have time. Polls have now closed in
Keep gifting!
Most of Michigan. Let me be clear. These 4 counties up here in the UP are actually technically they're officially Central Time Zone. Everything else is Eastern Time Zone. So we can now, what will happen here is for the next hour, if we get results from any Eastern Time Zone counties in Michigan, you'll see them pop up here. You will not see anything pop up in these 4 counties. They will not close for another hour. That also means that, hey, if a bunch of results came in the Eastern Time Zone and it was clear to me and to you and to everyone out there that one of these candidates was going to win this primary, our decision desk could not call it. We will not call any race while there are still counties where the polls have not closed. So keep that in mind for the next hour here in Michigan. We are going to have the first of our News Now hits in 30 seconds, so we'll give you a quick read on how that works. And again, the minute we start getting results here in the Senate election, we're also going to be, well, let me stop talking because we're going to it.
Bro, don't abruptly stop, dude. What the fuck? That's crazy. Is he silent or was he silenced? Yeah, he was silenced. If someone in 2006
to the man, the myth, the legend, NBC News chief data analyst Steve Kornacki over at the big board. Steve, we know polls in 2 states just closed, plus a lot of polling locations in Michigan. They're closed down now too, so what's it looking like?
Yeah, well, right now we're looking at the blank map, but the anticipation, this is the hour where we start to find out, I think, Gotti, in this closely contested Senate race here. I think all
we're going to be leaving soon, by the way. Level 15 hype train. We're at level 12. Here. Get to level 15, chat. What the fuck are we doing? Let's go.
Within the Democratic Party, we've seen these candidates from the sort of the far left of the party having
Mallory's still in the race. She's on the ballot, chat.
Big primaries this year.
She dropped out, but she's still on the ballot. And there's probably still going to be some olds that vote for her.
Can win this primary tonight, and then general election questions here too. Based
some olds that already voted for her
too. We talk about the midterm climate may not be friendly to Republicans. Republicans are saying, well, it may not be, but we can win if Democrats nominate a candidate as far left as Al Sayed. Because remember, this is a state that Donald Trump carried in 2020.
Taiwanese Twitch streamer Miguel from Pierre is betting 67% minimum for Abdul. 67? That's a joke, right? Or wait, what's the how many points above though? What's his lock? Because I want it to be 20. I don't think we're going to get to 20. It's probably going to be like 17. Plus 17. Does he think? Showsters! Yowza! 200 level 12 complete. Dead air, man. Dead air, not good. Okay, so I what is the DNC line if Abdul blows out Stevens by 67? I don't think that's crazy. 65 is in my range. No, I said it's crazy depending on what the... I want to know what you think he's going to put on Haley. Like, what's your gap? I think he's going to be above 60. I wonder if Abdul gets 67, that's a minimum of plus 33. He is not going to be plus... If Abdul gets plus 33, I will die on the spot. I will perish. If we get the level 15 hype train, Abdul will get plus 33. Where are you going in Michigan? I'm going to the Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed election watch party in a little bit. We're obviously whoa, it's in.
Early vote. Are we looking at election day vote here? That's going to be key. Adam is taking a look at that.
But
one thing I can tell you about this county here is this is a place where Syed has to do well. Okay, his support in polling and the support of these progressive insurgent candidates has really been closely linked with age. The younger the electorate, the younger the voters, the better these candidates on the left have been doing. This is a place here, Kent County, Grand Rapids, that is growing very quickly,
I don't know if you can see,
and it's
but I
growing
bit my
with
fucking
younger
cuticles so hard.
residents. It has a
Level
younger
14 hype
median
train.
age than the statewide average. So this is a place where progressives have done well in recent elections. I should say better than they have, in other counties statewide. It's a place where Al-Sayed has to do well, and you're seeing that first batch of vote we're getting here. This is probably absentee vote that was cast by mail early.
Stop the count.
And if it is, and Al-Sayed is leading it, that's particularly good news for him because, again, we expect the vote by mail to be better for Stevens. So that's the first readout that we're getting here, again, from a county where Abdul El-Sayed is expected to and needs to do well. And I'm going to ask my producer
what Kami says!
It is partial mail.
It is partially vote by mail. And Gotti, that's significant because the vote by mail, we've been seeing this, tends to be an older demographic casting it. It tends to be better for candidates like Stevens, who are the establishment candidates. So if we're seeing vote by mail, the candidate from the left, Al-Sayed, is doing well, that bodes particularly well for him.
I'm going to fucking have to be at that party.
Interesting. It's so fascinating to hear you talk about vote by mail versus same-day voting because, I mean, this is really a race between...
Gotta say canceled.
Kind of a
cancel
very
out my grandma's vote for Israeli Stevens by voting for Abdul and Macomb.
Very moderate, maybe more like cable news watching electorate.
Israeli
Do you think that we're going to see
Stevens.
some of the same trends in terms of urban versus rural voters that we do in like the same day voters versus the mail-in ballots?
Yeah, it's a wonky conversation, but it's an important one because it really has been the defining feature. It's just been areas where you find younger voters, where you find younger college-educated voters, younger college-educated female voters, single. I'm layering these different demographic categories on top of each other. That's where these
54% hype train level 15.
candidacies
Oh
have
my
really
God,
taken root, and where there
Schmaus-
tends to have been
Schmaus,
resistance to
there's
them
another
is
100.
places where the electorate skews older. It just becomes a more sort of moderate electorate, an electorate that's more friendly to a candidate like Stevens. So again, just based on Grand Rapids, the Grand Rapids area itself, especially when you're talking about Democratic voters in the Grand Rapids area, you are talking about something that's younger. There are a lot of newcomers coming in there.
Emil Habibi.
But again, that's an interesting, the fact that the vote by mail, some of this vote by mail, that we've seen demographically, that tends to be more
Level
used
15
by
hype
older
train
voters
achieved.
than younger voters. The fact that that is coming up friendly for Sayed is a very interesting early sign.
And again, a very early sign, 9% in there, but real fast. Steve, remind us of like the purple nature of Michigan here. Like this,
oh my God.
Take us back to Bernie versus Hillary. What does this state sometimes skew?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take a look. These are the last three.
From this point on, Michigan will only be purple because it's deep red, but for socialism, and blue for some Democrats, but mostly.
2 wins for Donald Trump. I'm sorry, this is Kent County. I needed to go to the statewide. You think, Gotti, after 6 months I would know how to use this
no,
thing?
I was impressed that you were just pulling these out of like thin air and the big board. Of course you have all of these things at your
we get to
fingertips.
level 20
This is wild to just see you work here.
And this is it. Look, Trump has won this 2 out of 3 times. Remember, before Trump came along, no Republican had won Michigan in a presidential election since 1988. Now he's done it 2 out of 3 times, and that really is part of the story here in this
close
Senate
presidents
primary,
with 100
where,
balls.
the
Thank
Stevens
you.
campaign, her supporters have been saying to Democrats, look, Al-Sayed is too far to the left to win in a state that went for Donald Trump 2 out of 3 times. These left-wing candidacies have done really well in Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Denver, New York City, places like this, where the general election is going to be a cakewalk for any Democrat. Not so in Michigan, and this has been the pitch that Stevens has been making to voters. They're saying this is a risk if you nominate Al-Sayed in a state like this. And national Democrats, some national Democrats, again, that establishment wing at least, have been saying, well, hey, winning the Senate for Democrats, if the Democrats are losing Michigan this fall, the math kind of becomes prohibitive on that.
Yeah,
AES,
and not to put the big board
after the
to
primary
the test
stands
again,
for
but
actual
we're already starting to
existing
see some results
socialism.
in Virginia, right? I'm not sure if you've got those up yet, but that's an interesting state because, I don't know, because AI, data centers seem to be creeping into politics in a very big way there, especially considering that Northern Virginia has the highest concentration of data centers in the country. You're a different kind of big data guy, I know, but what are the numbers they're showing?
Yeah, I will jump there. We did get one little county here. Part of it is Wexford County. This is small, this is rural. The reason I'm flagging this even with just 10% is, again, this part of Michigan here, sort of north of US 10, is just filled with largely very small, rural, older electorates, older blue-collar white electorates.
You Michigan voter went on CNN?
Is that Stevens isn't just winning up here, but for a few places, she is cleaning up here.
Agree to what they want to,
you Michigan voter. This is you Mitch voter.
And why is that?
Because he doesn't take money from AIPAC. I'm not voting for anybody who takes money from AIPAC.
And why is that?
Embrace HasanAbi thought. 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 Now! Fox News Official. Thank you for the 25 gifted subs. Thank you, Fox News Official. My biggest fans.
Two small little, pieces of clues here that we've gotten from Kent and that we've gotten from Wexford. But again, just those two small things we've seen so far are things that Al Sayed would want to see more than Stevens would want to see.
Got it. Any sizable votes coming in from places like Virginia right now?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You had asked about that, and I went. Okay, let's go over to Virginia because we do have a call. I want to show you this in the 2nd district here. 2nd district is around Virginia Beach here. This is the district. It's basically dead even in the presidential race. Now, this is interesting. Elaine Luria won this Democratic primary. That's no surprise. Elaine Luria is a former member of Congress. She was defeated for re-election by Republican Jen Kiggins. Kiggins unopposed for renomination in the 2nd district. So this is going to be a rematch. Two candidates who've represented this district in Congress. And again, the backdrop, this is as dead even as they come. This is going to be one of the most closely watched congressional races in America this November. This is going to be, kind of one of those bellwether districts. We're talking about, are Democrats going to have a big night, win the House, win it by a big margin? Are Republicans going to actually have a chance of holding on to the House? This is going to be one of those districts this November. Again, it's right there in the Hampton Roads, Virginia Beach area. Big military presence, Navy presence.
20 seconds remaining.
This is going to be one of those places.
87%. 20 seconds. 10 seconds
on
remaining.
Election night,
87%.
As an early clue this November. So put that one in your heads. Virginia 2nd district, Kiggins versus Luria.
90%. 9 seconds remaining.
We're going to be checking back with you throughout the night here. Can't wait to see you, Kristen, and Hallie as the night goes on.
98%, 99%.
And just over an hour ago,
we made it to level 16 on train.
That was very nice of Gotti to put me into his show, and you got to see how that worked. That was fun, right? So let me get out of Virginia and
get back to Michigan.
You see what we make sense of those cuts, like something in an eye doctor's office. But let's go back to Michigan here and see if we've got anything new coming in. Adam, not that, do I even dare ask, do we have any clue what kind of vote this was?
Yeah, so this is one precinct out of Wayne County. It's in Grosse Ile Township. And it's just one precinct that we got results for.
Wait, that's Grosse actually Point, good.
Where'd you say it was?
Grosse Ile.
Wayne County, Abdullah Head?
It's one precinct of election day. Again, I'm analyzing.
Yeah.
Again, remember, for early voting, Abdul's not supposed to be ahead right now, especially because the areas that are coming from, the areas that are coming from should be going to Haley Stevens by like plus 35, plus 40 for her to even be competitive. This is actually, it's too early. It's too early to tell because it's like 1%.
Report out from the mail vote. I think we had it at
but that,
roughly about
like that district is not
based on our of the mail vote in our targets.
You said 16 or 60? What did you say?
16.
16% of the mail vote in King
of our
County.
Expected mail vote in
the absentee drop comes from parts of King County that should be less favorable to El Sayed. Yeah, exactly, including more heavily black areas of Grand Rapids, making it an encouraging result for him in the absentee vote. Yeah. Remember, we talked about this already. Early on, early votes that are coming in are absentee ballots, older. In black districts, the older absentee ballots is exactly where Haley Stevens is supposed to be running up the numbers big time. And I'm talking about literally like not plus 20, plus 40, okay? Depending on where we're looking at. So if she's only above even plus 20, that's an easy victory for Abdul Al-Sayed. The fact that Abdul Al-Sayed, I mean, this is very, very few numbers so far. I'm a numbers guy. This is very, very few number. Okay? If Abdul is leading in the absentee votes, they're going to call this pretty quickly. They're going to call this before 9. They might actually call us while we're on the fucking way over there. We should have not waited. Are you, what's going on? You ready? It turns out it's not Israel that comes to us in our dreams. It's Medicare comes to our dreams.
Vote by
It comes
mail
to us in our dreams.
starts to look extremely different because we've seen this in primary after primary. This is the vote that's supposed to be the best for Stevens, and she's losing by more than 16 points right now, at least, again, from Grand Rapids here, this vote by mail. She's supposed to do the best with this. Then when they start adding in the election day vote, that's when the Young vote, that's when that more, sort of leftward vote comes out, and that's where Al-Sayed is supposed to sort of make his move. And instead, I mean, yeah, you're seeing numbers there. If you're Al-Sayed's campaign,
insane. Like,
I think you are.
I'm not even joking. I
again,
feel like
one
this is
city
insane.
in one county. You're not celebrating, but you're saying that's what you want to see. That's the start you want to see.
Okay, now the team is fucking asking us when we're on our way.
It's quite the opposite of that. I'm trying to pull up here. I have some benchmarks that I had established, and of course,
what are you doing over there?
What have I done? I've gone and messed everything up here. If you'll bear with me, right? So, I mean, I give you a sense of this. We're trying to think of what the best benchmarks were tonight. Use it from Stevens' standpoint, right? If Stevens going to win this election night, what does she need to be getting in a county like Kent County? So take a look at 3 recent, I say recent, it's the last 10 years, statewide elections in Kent County. Statewide Democratic primaries in Kent County. If you went back to 2016, Hillary Clinton, kind of the establishment candidate, got 37% in Kent County. Remember, she lost statewide. It was close, but Bernie Sanders did defeat her statewide. In the 2020 Democratic primary, now this was held under unusual COVID circumstances. Biden was starting to kind of become the inevitable, but it was 46% of the vote is what Joe Biden. If you say Joe Biden was kind of the establishment candidate, Biden got 46% of the vote out of Kent. And then here's the interesting one. Back in 2018, Gretchen Whitmer got 44% of the vote here in her primary. Whitmer ran in 2018 against Al-Sayed and one other candidate. Now, Whitmer won the primary statewide with 52% of the vote. Al-Sayed was a distant second place, but the other candidate, which was Shri Tanadar, was also a candidate of the left. So there was one way of looking at that 2018 primary to say, hey, the progressive wing actually got 48% against the establishment, candidate of Whitmer, who got 52. So Whitmer getting 52 statewide got 44 here. Okay, so I think one thing you'd say is, if you're Stevens, that's probably the floor for you, somewhere right around there in a county like Kent. You don't want to be doing worse than 44% in a county like Kent County. By the way, Kent County was one of the better ones for Al-Sayed in that 2018 primary. He got about 40% of the vote here. It's about 44 to 40% in that Democratic primary. So, if you're Stevens, you want to at least be matching the 44 that Whitmer got out of here, because I think there's a lot of demographic overlap likely between the appeal of these two candidacies. And this is a big one. So she's running at 39 right now with what's supposed to be the better type of vote for her in this county. Again, the thing that could change that, we get outside Grand Rapids, we get vote by mail from the rest of Kent County, maybe the political complexion of it's very different, and Stevens is able to boost that number. But even if she does, in the remaining vote by mail in Kent County, what comes after that? The election day vote. And we'll see, there's always room for the pattern to be broken, but what we've been seeing with this election day vote is it's been very friendly to candidates like Al-Sayed. So Stevens,
Donovan McKinney's race is going to be called later, Chad.
If what we've seen in other primaries roughly holds up here, when you get the vote by mail counted in Kent County, she wants to be well over 44% with it to allow for, to give herself a pad for Al-Sayed really having a big day on election day. And then that number for Stevens could come down and maybe land around 44%. That's a rough benchmark here for her, but I think mid-40s for her, in Kent County. She could probably dip a little bit lower if she can make up for it elsewhere. There is one big place where she could make up for it. We can get into this later. There's an opportunity here, I think, for her to do much better in Wayne County, okay, than Gretchen Whitmer did. So that's why I say that's a rough benchmark.
Don't look, drops
but
for
somewhere
Cori
in
Bush.
that,
I'm waiting. What is it?
43, 44 range here. I think Stevens doesn't
What
want
is
to
it? What
really
is the
start
Cori
going
Bush
south
one?
of that. So that's not too encouraging for her, what you're seeing first there. But again, I don't want to, this isn't the Grand Rapids primary. This isn't the Kent County primary. This is the Michigan primary.
No, I'll call it.
And we're just waiting for more numbers here from the rest of the
state.
state. Again, we got just a precinct somewhere in Wayne. We told you a little bit about Wexford. I want to see, this becomes interesting if this is replicated across the upper lower peninsula into the upper peninsula if counties consistently do this. Because again, I mean, if you're using that Whitmer model, Whitmer just cleaned up the upper lower and into the upper peninsula. You know, these are places where she was getting 60, 65% of the vote in that primary. Places where Al Sayed was getting 15, 18, 20% of the vote. So to see Al Sayed getting 46 here, potentially, but you know, we don't know the vote type here. This were vote by mail too. In fact, I can tell you what Al Sayed's number was in Wexford. Yeah, he got 23% in the 2018 primary in Wexford County, and Gretchen Whitmer got 60%, right? So again, if you're saying Stevens is kind of, you know, wants to kind of use that Whitmer model from 2018, this is the kind of county where she wants to be getting 60%.
Those are early votes in the county for Wesley Bell. Don't focus on it. Not indicative of the final results.
Yeah, you want to see if that extends elsewhere there, because it's very limited. Yes.
If you do want to take a detour, we have our first few results out of Kansas as well.
Okay.
In those statewide races.
Is there anything from Missouri? Keep
Not yet.
on that one.
I will.
The Missouri one, I think there's a lot of interest in it. I want to make sure we get to. So just,
I think
okay, but take a look here at
increased turnout favors Abdul, obviously, and it actually favors the cross endorsements as well. I think it'll favor Donovan, which is really good. Hopefully, it'll favor Will Lawrence as well. Like the down ballot performance, I think, is going to be pretty fucking good for the cross endorsements, right? So we shall see. Yeah, I can't even begin to explain to you how little I give a shit about, you know, Kansas. When are you going to the party? Why are you still here? We're gonna go to the party in a little bit, okay? We don't want to arrive too early. We're trying to time it. We're trying to fucking time it. Dog, explosions in Dubai. Brother, I can't begin to explain to you how little I will be focusing on situation monitoring right now. This is literally the situation to monitor. Right now, the center of my universe is in motherfucking Michigan. Okay? The center of my universe is in motherfucking Michigan right now. My heart is also in Missouri, but let's be real. Michigan comes to me in my dreams, okay? Not Israel. Michigan comes to me in my dreams.
And then Holscher, interestingly though, outside of Johnson, Holscher with an 18-point advantage. These are small. Oh, Wichita's what we want to see, of course. Now, this is interesting. This is, you know, again, this is sort of like Michigan. We don't have a ton of evidence to point to, but this is the biggie. As we said, 35% of the vote in a Democratic primary is going to come right out of Johnson County. You know, I can put the numbers up on the screen for you. 35% of the vote's going to come there. 15% or so is going to come out of Wichita. About half the vote is going to come from those two counties. Yeah.
But back to me.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
Okay. That's big. Put it just a way of saying this here. It's interesting that Holscher's support, at least in the big counties we've seen, getting away from Johnson County, she is running ahead of Corson, not by much, but she is running ahead of him in both those counties. That might be significant. But we want to go back to Michigan. I got to click on one of these House races, go to the Senate race. What did I just do here?
5%
Michigan.
votes in
go
for Hartzell.
to the Senate race. Okay. This is significant.
Okay, not as
okay,
bad.
wow. Now, we think this is vote by mail in Eaton, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, dude.
Here's the story on Eaton. And the number is, if you're an Al Sayed supporter.
Let me clarify. I see mixed returns in these votes. It looks like I see some mail in here, mostly election day, and some early in person.
Mostly election day.
Michigan 7?
Yes. It looks like it's about
Lawrence picks
1,500 pre-advanced votes and 3,000
at 48.4%
early election
with
day votes.
3.7% of the expected votes so far.
We're using this.
Give us Donovan. Donovan is going to take some time, from what I understand.
As a rough, I stress rough model here for trying to set some benchmarks for Stevens. The area right around here is where Whitmer massively overperformed in 2018. Why? Because that's her political base. That's, she was the county prosecutor in Ingham County. She was a state legislator from this area. She did really well in Ingham County. She did really well in Eaton County, in Clinton County, Shiawassee County, Livingston County. She did really well. So long way of saying, we're using those three benchmarks. I'll give you a sense of Eaton, right? Clinton, we say the establishment candidate of 2016, got 44% of the vote in Eaton County. Biden in 2020 got 52%
Looking at some election
in
day
this
strips,
county.
it looks like 25% is in play.
When I say she overperformed in that race, I lost my place here. You're looking at 65% of the vote. She got 65% of the vote.
Bro,
here
what an indictment, dude. What a ginormous fuck you so far to basically the endorsements coming from heavy hitters in the state. It turns out this truly is, look, I can't speak for the general right now, but it truly does feel like this is a fuck the establishment race. And unlike Donald Trump's rise to power, which was in the hands of one singular person, this is a movement. The amount of money spent so far. I mean, I don't want to talk like, he won already, but I mean, it's, let's just say you really don't want to be in the Haley Stevens camp right about now. You really don't want to be in the Gretchen Whitmer camp either. Obviously, Gary Peters is out regardless, but not looking too great. Not looking too great if you are Gretchen Whitmer looking at these numbers right now. You are not feeling confident about your future prospects, which is part of the reason why I said, like, when that endorsement came down, I was like, I don't think she ever wants to run for higher office. I think she's just going to get a cushy. I think that she is going to get a cushy consulting job after she's done being the governor. More William Lawrence drops? No, we already saw that. It's at 48.4%. Looking great for William Lawrence. Like I said, Donovan McKinney, we are not going to know about Donovan McKinney until later, if not late into the night, is the expectation. Not sure. What is this? Ferndale election day votes. DSA challenger 3-1 votes on incumbent Helena Scott, who said if Abdul wins, we're fucked. Yeah, that's Chris Gilmer Hill. Is the DSA endorsed challenger looking really good. How many minutes after this primary until Haley Stevens moves back to Northern Virginia? This is a classic line. If you're in line to vote, stay in line. Polls close at 8 p.m. local time. And when she says local time, to be fair, it's Tel Aviv time. So she knows not what she says. It's not her fault,
And the same question has been raised by Lawrence's candidacy. If Democrats nominate him in a district, this is not a deep blue.
This is literally journalistic malpractice. That has not been said about William Lawrence. As a matter of fact, William Lawrence has consistently outperformed every other fucking candidate in matchups and is the only Democrat running in Michigan District 7 that beats the Republican. The idea that William Lawrence is on the left, so he might be too radical, is fucking bullshit. And they tried to literally jam him up with, like, he's anti-black in a district that doesn't really have a lot of black folk in it. Why did they do that? It's because he was cross-endorsed with Abdul. Okay? It's because he was cross-endorsed with Abdul, so they thought that they could hit him with the Donovan cross-endorsement. They could, like, maybe take out a little bit of that black vote for Donovan. They thought that they could chip away at the black vote for Abdul. It was some of the most cynical posturing I've ever seen because William Lawrence, one, Lansing has black people, yes, but it's not like a heavily. Wait, what? It's not the Lansing has black people in it, but it's not a predominantly black district. Also, regardless, he wasn't anti-black anyway. I didn't even get to finish my fucking point. Dang, man, I'm in Lawrence's district and I'm black in Lansing. Okay, I know I have a lot of Michiganders in the chat right now, okay? I'm going to be talking about all of your fucking districts tonight. Calm down, okay? It's less than 6% black. It's not Wayne County. Of course, there's black people everywhere. And of course, HasanAbi heads, black HasanAbi heads are going to be all around the state of Michigan, okay? Calm down. In any case, 4% in, our boy's doing good.
It may well be this split, divided opposition here, but here's Lawrence getting, at least in the little bit that we see, it's only 4%, but there he is running 20 points ahead. So that is going to be, 4%, it's 30% even.
Hasan, I licked the seat you sat on in Kitab Cafe. You are out of your fucking mind, dude. Yeah, here, like I was saying, these are significant results because they provide our first direct comparison access vote types, and the shift is enormous, roughly 40 points towards El Sayed. I guess the reason why, yeah, look. Haley Stevens in Eaton County was only putting up, I mean, so far this is not everything, but she's like barely squeezing 20 plus points in Eaton County with the combined absentee. And then when you combine it with election day, Abdul Al Sayed is winning. New drops.
In Eaton County, since it's the one, and I think we just got some more Eaton as well.
We did.
Yes. So we've been, I know you and I were talking a lot today about, the vote modes and the way like these different votes might break. So we can check in a little bit here, especially since we have, 40% of the vote in. In the advanced vote, which is vote that was cast before Election Day, I think this includes early and mail vote. That is breaking for Stevens 49.5 to El Sayed 44.
5.5. Okay. Yep.
And the election day, he's winning 64 or 65 to 32 for Stevens.
Wow. So look at that. And we've got, it was 2/3, 1/3 before. What we just got was more.
Yeah, it looks like we're tapped out of the early now, and it looks like we're expecting a little bit more election day and some more mail.
There is more mail, because that was the early vote that just was added into the mix.
That's what the early vote is, a small pool. So
right.
I think it was vote across all modes that just came in.
Right. Okay. So I mean, this would be even if we were just showing you vote by mail, I think this would be a little bit more pro Stevens. The early vote, I think, might take it a little bit away. But this is the gap we're talking about. Stevens is winning the vote cast before Election Day by 5.5 points. Remember, we said we think that vote that comes in earlier is an older demographic that's more favorable to the establishment wing. Okay, she's winning it by 5.5 points. The Election Day vote is going 33 points for Al Sayed. So, I mean, even just a little rough back of the envelope math here, you could see that if one side, one side is plus 33 for one candidate, and the other side's plus 5.5 for the other. It's a big advantage for this candidate. And again, you say Stevens here, what's the kind of number? What's like a bottom line number she would want to get out of Eaton County if you just take the lowest of all the establishment candidates, right? We said it was 44%. Maybe if she could compensate for it somewhere else, that could drop a little bit, but she doesn't want to be getting much lower than that.
We just got Washington.
Okay. This is big. Ann Arbor, University of Michigan. We just got, this must be a big bunch of vote by mail that we just got.
Taking a look.
Holy cow, that's, I mean.
I see a mix here again.
Yeah. Well, okay, if you're able to.
Yeah, I'm taking a look into it more.
While you're doing that, let's just take you through. Again, this is sort of the liberal heart of Michigan.
Guys, I can't tell, is that
University
good?
of Michigan, Ann Arbor. This is Al Sayed.
Guys, I can't tell.
This was his best county, as a matter of fact, I believe, in 2018. Let me just check that. Yeah, look, in 2018, he basically fought Whitmer to a tie here, 46-46. But the key, using that Whitmer model, Whitmer was able to get 46% support out of Washtenaw County, right? Washtenaw County is this is going to be roughly 6% of all votes.
Guys, I don't know. Is that good? I can't tell.
So you don't want to get blown out in a county like this. Whitmer in 2018 didn't get blown out. She got 46% of the vote right there.
The People's Republic of Ann Arbor.
Candidates do. Biden in 2020 got 48% of the vote in Washtenaw County. In 2016, running against Bernie Sanders, right? He'd be the college town guy, you would think, right? Hillary Clinton, well, she didn't do great, but she got 44% in Washtenaw County. These are establishment candidates in Democratic primaries in this county. That is where Stevens is running, we think, with a mix of early vote by mail and election day vote. She's a light year behind the other establishment candidates. We say, again, if you're an establishment candidate running against a progressive insurgent in a Democratic primary in Michigan, I think you go into it saying you're going to lose Washtenaw County, right? But you go into it saying, I want to be here. I want to lose it like this. I want to be in the low 40s, the mid 40s. You don't want to be in the 30s. You don't want to be in the low 30s. You don't want to be in the 20s. Now, that is 22% of the vote that's come in right there. There is more to come. That can change. Though I would say, and Adam, you can check on this if you have any of this information, the way it's gone in recent elections in Washtenaw County is like at the very end, one of the last things that gets reported out is the vote by mail, specifically from the city of Ann Arbor. And that's not the entire county. That's a big chunk of vote.
Right
so,
now.
That's why I'm curious to see how the vote by mail is breaking here, because if
HUD and I got all the Hudsons to vote. We did this because we have 100,000 siblings.
Yeah, so right now
they're not even joking. The Hudson family is like,
we have 39.
The Hudson family low key runs the state. The Hudson family is basically the Manny Maroon family. They run the state. They do have 10,000. They do have that Catholic 10,000 relative
vote specifically
movement.
Later on in the night. Looking at the county results site, it's also a pretty broad-based precinct results, but I do see precincts with zeros in Ann Arbor and Ypsilanti, so we're getting more from those populated
Do we have a sense
towns.
how that advanced early is breaking?
Yes. So in the early vote right now, it's breaking for El Sayed 74-24-25. In the mail vote, it's currently breaking for El Sayed 50-45.
The vote by mail, yeah. So El Sayed's winning the vote by mail right now, 50-45, and that's not included. So, okay, again, something significant is going to have to change in the pattern Adam just said for Stevens to avoid getting clobbered in Washtenaw County. Because again, we say Ann Arbor's vote by mail comes last. We think Stevens is going to do better with vote by mail. She is doing better with vote by mail than election day. So in a way, that's good news for her. You say maybe she's saving sort of saving her best for last. But even in the vote by mail that's been counted so far, she's a couple points behind El Sayed. And I would think, this is me guessing, we'll see, when you get to Washtenaw, a place like Ann Arbor, excuse me, such a liberal town, even the vote by mail there, it may be more friendly to Stevens than the election day vote, but that doesn't mean she's winning it. She may just be losing it by a lesser margin than she's losing the election day vote. This is if you're Stevens, the early discouraging signs are adding up.
All right, 1 minute.
We have some election day vote in Livingston as well, right there in the Detroit area.
Yep.
I'm feeling a little
stick
it to him right now.
Wow. You think this
brother?
This is a mix, but this is primarily election day, yes.
Okay.
A little
so with the
stick it to
caveat
him.
that there's a vote, and if you can, whatever vote by mail we have, if you're able to calculate that, with the caveat that we think this is the most friendly type of vote for El Sayed, he's 26 points ahead with a little bit more than a quarter of the vote counted in Livingston. Livingston is sort of the big, fast-growing, ex-urban county there. You got Detroit, you got Oakland, you got Macomb, and then a little bit further out, you got fast-growing Livingston County. That's sort of where you are. Sayed leading this by 26 points. To give you, again, the benchmarks we've kind of been using are three establishment Democrats in Democratic primaries here. How does this compare? Okay, Hillary Clinton, she got 38%.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're in transit. We're officially in transit.
Missouri won as well.
See you in the car.
We'll go right over to